Hello, what is up, guys? It's Spartan D here, and I am here to talk to you about the upcoming banner with Edda, the Sword of Convallaria. So, she is a Watcher who has the Destroyer tag, and she is essentially one of the greatest supports that you're gonna run into. And so you kind of sit here and you have a dilemma, because Gloria, as of this recording, she is still up. You have pretty much the entire day until her banner is gone, and then the following day is when the event and Edda makes their debut. And I'll cover the event in another video. But essentially, she is a really, really good Magic team supporter. And what she essentially does, and you don't have to use her in the Magic team, but that's essentially where she is most prominent at. She also makes it so the team has there's a team-wide magic defense buff, which will help you in pushing not only the weapon trials, but also the trinket trials as well. So she has a lot of viability in terms of what she can do for your team. Just right off the bat, she's really good, right? But there is an issue here, and it's the fact that a lot of the banners we're getting accelerated. Like all of the banners here, we're gonna get all of the events as well, but there's just gonna be a lot to take in. So it's a matter of, do you want to summon for this unit? Because she does some incredible things, but as a free-to-play player and a light spender, you have to ask yourself, what is this character going to do for my team / teams moving forward? And is it an immediate boost to my account? And if you can't check off those boxes, you shouldn't summon for this unit. There is also the caveat of, I like this character, I want this character, and if that's the case for you, then go ahead and do so. Just understand this. Before I get into Edda, we get a grace period where we essentially, where is she? Where is that darn character? What's her name? Yes, Simona. So this character, we're gonna get this character, Simona, right after Edda, and then after that, we get Sophia in August, who are god tiers. That's not even the end of it, right? Because after that, we get what's her name? Is she not here? What is her name? It's not her, but there's a tank that we get. She's a green defender, just like Mytha. That is like absolutely absurd, right? And then there's like another character on top of that we also get, who's absolutely nuts. So then it just like, it begs the question, with the currency that you have, hopefully you've been saving your currency. I would hope that you all have been saving your currency and pushing the story as much as you can, so then you can make a choice. Because at some point, it's gonna come down to, do you have enough currency to get this character? Okay, if you do, awesome, go for it. If not, then you need to save your currency. You just do. You're gonna have to come to a consensus of like, do I summon for this character? Do I go all in and then like stagnate my account, because that's what's gonna happen as a free-to-play player slash light spend. Well, as a light spender, you can get around that, but as a free-to-play player, you're gonna have some troubles, especially if you don't get the unit and you're just haphazardly using your currency any and every time you get it. It's not going to end well. I will say that. It will not end well. And that's not something that you really want for your account. And I'm gonna keep hammering down on this point so you guys don't like ruin your accounts. Because there's a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of videos of people making summoning videos, and they're like, I'm going all in. This new banner just dropped. Hey guys, it's like you should watch that and live vicariously through them. You shouldn't emulate that. It's like, oh, they did it, I can do it too. Don't do that. You're gonna ruin your account. I promise you, you're gonna ruin your account. But that aside, let's talk about Edda and what she does. So she essentially at base, which is I believe that's good enough. If you're going to go for a character, again, just go for the base. Over time, you will be able to get the character max star just from playing the game every single day. I promise you. The more you push into the story, the more the game unlocks and opens for you, and the easier it just becomes for you to maximize your resources. Because all that's going to end up happening is you're going to go into this memory shard trial. You're going to do that. You're going to get like 1 to 2 shards, or like 2 shards a day. And eventually, through war of attrition, you'll have the character started up instead of, using excess currency to try and go for dupes. And you only get 50 shards a dupe. So you got to think about like how much is that really worth? Like how much is 1500 Luxite worth on a multi-summon that's not guaranteed to get me the character again, versus I can use this currency to push further into the story to get my character stronger, so I can actually get more currency. So it's like you gotta spend money to make money. It takes money to make money. All right, this is how you have to think about it. And it's like, it's not the most luxurious, it's not the most elegant, but it gets the job done, and it keeps you playing the game instead of like, okay, I blew my load, I don't have any more. I can't do anything now. I didn't get the character. I'm unhappy. I'm going to stop playing the game, because that's what's going to happen for a lot of people. It's a grindy game. You just have to like get that into your head that it's a really, really grindy game. Okay? So again, like I have to lead with this disclaimer, because a lot of people are going to just go in, do what they see done, and then it doesn't happen the way that it does, or it does and then they fool more people into thinking that they can do it, and then it's just for most people it's just not going to end well. Okay, so Edda doesn't even like really come online for what you, if you're going to use her as like a sub DPS slash support, she doesn't really fully utilize that role until 3 stars, where she can hit 2 times instead of 1 time. And honestly, I don't even think it's worth it, nor do I think you should use her that way if you're a free-to-play player. If you're a whale, this doesn't apply to you, and I'll speak for whales as well. She's just really good. You get her no matter what. You just get her. You 5-star or whatever you feel comfortable with. 3 stars, 5 stars. You just grab her. For whales and dolphins and whales, you grab her. She's a tier. She's like top tier. She's top tier support. It's insane. She's like stupidly good. But is she worth it? Because is she going to push your account further? Is she going to help you in high deficit battles? She does, but it's with an asterisk. Like, she does that, but you have to utilize her other abilities. This is just her passive. So this is her regular shot. You can upgrade that. You can upgrade that over here. And what it essentially does is you gain shield break. Now what shield break does is it ignores for one, it ignores the enemy's defenses, and then it increases your attack. If they have a shield, it ignores that as well. So it's really busted right there. And then you also have the ability to just remove buffs. So it's really like a situational thing. But she's any unit that can give you defense shred is insane. Just know that. Like, they're absolutely nuts, right? So again, shield break is ignoring the shield, it's ignoring the defense, it's buffing your attack. She's really strong, like really strong. It's no way that I can advise against summoning for her. It's just, you have to know that we're going to get stronger units, like standalone units later, like straight boss killing. Like we'll have a back-to-back mob killer slash sub decent boss killer in Sophia, and then you get August, who is a dedicated bona fide boss killer, meaning like any of the trials that you have issues with, any high deficits that you have issues with, he's going to clear it bar none. And I'll cover that in another video. But it's just like, I don't see where, I don't see how you fit all of these characters onto your account unless you get really, really lucky as a free-to-play player, or you would have had to have saved your currency from the moment that you started up to this point, and then maybe you could, see what happens. But past that, it's like, with the acceleration of the banners coming in, it's not a guarantee whatsoever. Even though the dev said, like, yes, we're gonna put these events here, we're gonna give you guys more currency, you gotta take that as like, okay, you don't know how much more you're going to get, and the baseline of what was seen is like, you get a bit of luck sight, I want to say like 500 to maybe 1,000, and then like 3 summon bells and then a bunch of other resources. So per event baseline, that's what you're getting. They're gonna up those resources. I don't know about how much though. So it's like, that's not that much, and you're not getting that much more luck sight in just from the game itself. There's not a whole lot that you can accumulate at all. It's just not. Like, unless you're pushing the tower, and you have to push the tower. And these are the things that you have to think about. If you brick your account, you're not going to get stronger units. You won't be able to push the tower of conquest, and you're just going to stagnate, right? And you're going to have to, like, you're still going to have to use your currency on smart things like Star Trial and all that. I'll cover that in another video as well. But it's like, you don't have options here. So you have to, as a free-to-play player, and I'm speaking from a free-to-play player / light spender aspect, just mainly because I'm not, I haven't decided to spend money on the game like as a dolphin or a whale just yet. I absolutely can, but I just, I want to be able to enjoy the game from a lens where a good amount of the player base is going to operate from, instead of from the aspect of, I can just throw money at the game, easy mode, herder. You don't really learn the mechanics that way. You learn it from a different perspective, and it's one that's more of a high roller aspect, to where you don't really go through the hardships as much as a regular player would. And then they have to, explore different avenues, like using the rares and the commons and the epic characters. And they're all good, by the way. They have, like I said before in the last video, they have good niche skill sets and assets that allow them to push you further into the story. Why, when you combo them with other characters, like they have slows, they have disrupts, they have heal blocks, and you need to use these characters, you need to utilize them properly to get into the higher level. So you don't even need to summon most of the time. So I'm making a case for both aspects. On one end, yes, Edda is incredible. She's great. She does a lot. She's giving you damage. Here it is right here. The damage, the magic defense, and you even get like a move increase as well. And this is tier 3. This isn't even that high into the skill tree. This is like what? 15, level 15. So you're gonna have access to this like pretty much immediately. Right? As like whenever you start the game, if you started the game just now, you're gonna have access to this, and this is huge. And it has a really large it's a moderately large area of effect in where it's going to hit your targets, right? And so you also have this where she can toss this, it's going to hit like a small grid around the area that you throw it at, but the range and where you have the ability to hit targets is really high. So this is this character, the reason why this character is nuts is because you can pair this unit up with any character that has the ability to use fire at all. Like any character that can leave trails of fire or ignite these areas, immediately Edda has a lot of utility, like a ton of utility. And then you start throwing this in with like the terrain, she becomes insane. Speaking of terrain, she also gets buffed when there's terrain near her. She gets her damage reduced by 40 by having terrain around her, and she can create the terrain herself. A fight back is just a regular strike back mechanic, like when a unit hits you from the front or the side, you just get a counter attack, so it's nothing like groundbreaking. It's just there for the sake of getting it. You never take that over cover advantage. So you go shield breaker, you go guiding light, you go cover advantage, or you could just go left, left, left. But a lot of these are good. It just depends on what your play style is and what you need. A lot like this is why I say to push the story, because you run into these issues where these characters have really, really good skills. You only have 4 slots to put them in, because the one of the slots is just automatically locked in the fight back mechanic. And I believe, hopefully, they have cover advantage and fight back set on the same slot. Otherwise, it's going to be like hell trying to get this character to have like the best skills at any given time. So you can like I said, the fact that she has defense shred is like this alone gives her such high value. Having defense shred is so unbelievably strong. It's ridiculously strong. It's disgustingly strong. You get this at level 35 though. So newer players, you won't even see this for a while, but like, the mid-range players, like the day 3, 4 players onwards, you're gonna see this and immediately it's going to become useful. It's a 50% chance, but when it hits, it's going to essentially make it so you can like deal massive damage or one-shot whatever the character is, which is huge, right? Whenever she's near any sort of item, basically it's the same as the cover advantage. Whenever you have like some sort of terrain nearby, she increases her attack, and then she can actually move 2 more times. So it's basically like, you think of the Cole passive, when you kill somebody you can move again. The other assassin, the free-to-play one, the Crimson Knight or whatever, I don't remember the name of the character, but you know which one I'm talking about because you get it for free. But it's the baby Cole that you get, the epic one. She also is able to move again after killing somebody. This one is a bit more free, where you just use your active and then you can move again. So there's that. And here it's just like I said, this is the normal attack. I think Shield Breaker's the best one, but it is situational. I would say for like PvP and certain PvE situations where there's a lot of high shield counts, use that. But if there's like buff heavy, and again, you have to pretty much choose between the two, because there's no wrong answer to this. If somebody says, yeah, you should pick Disperse because you get rid of buffs, I would say yes, that's correct. A lot of characters are buffing like crazy. There are buff teams. Gloria's a massive buffer. A lot of those buffs you can cancel. Some of them you can't cancel, but the important ones you actually can cancel. So it's important, right? So she's also able to give your character energy. She then has the ability to increase the amount of times she attacks with her support. So her passive, where she's able to assist someone in attacking, this is like super late game though. And this is why I say like the stars don't really matter in the grand scheme, because you're gonna have access to attacking more times. It just gets really insane when you have like a cluster of characters attacking one after the other, and she's able to follow up that many times. It's insane. So that's a really good skill. And then here, she essentially gets this ability where the further away the opponent is, the more damage it's gonna do. So it starts at 120, you can build it up to like 170. It's a fairly strong skill. It's just not one of her best skills. And that's not really a skill that you're looking at her for. You're mainly looking at her for her support abilities, her utility, which is nuts. And this is her awakening at 5 stars, which is, you know, it's really cool, but it's not worth you going crazy for your count. So like overall, she is one of the characters I would say if you summon for her, it's not a wrong choice at all. It's just not. She's really good. She's going to stay really, really good. For all intents and purposes, in game, supports have a much longer shelf life than any DPS will ever have. Utility is always going to outshine a DPS for the most part, unless that DPS is just like straight up future proof, and there's not many that have that aspect to them. But I will say this: the combo of Edda and Sophia is pretty insane, mainly because of their built-in mechanics of follow-up attacks. I don't know how they interact, but if they do interact in the way that I'm thinking that they do, where they can combo off of each other. So mainly for Edda, I'm saying this because no matter what, so Sophia's going to do her follow-up attacks, okay? But what this does, I'm just paraphrasing here. I don't know this, allegedly, because I don't know what Taiwan or the CN servers. I haven't looked at any of the gameplay there, so I don't know how these characters interact with each other. But if this is indeed the case, where Sophia can do an attack Ada does her attack, and then Sophia already has a built-in follow-up attack. Ada can then re-proc her follow-up attack again. So you're dealing like absurd amounts of damage. It's insane. Like it can absolutely work that way. No idea if it actually does work that way, but if it does, there's more incentive to summon for, you know, Ada. And it's not like Ada's a limited character, so she's going to fall into the regular pool anyway. So let's say you get an off banner of Sophia's banner, you might end up getting Ada. Which is, you know, it may be good, it may not be good. It's up to you. But that's just, you know, something to think about when you go to summon for these characters. Like Gloria, she's in the general pool. So even if you didn't summon for Gloria now, you can get her later. And the reason I know she's in the general pool is because people have gotten Gloria from the beginner banner, right? So there's that to consider. But with that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was enough insight for you to make a reasonable decision or come to a consensus of whether you're not going to summon or going to summon for Ada. I think that she's worth it, but I also understand if you're a Sophia lover like I am, you're probably not going to summon for her. I think at most I would throw a multi-adder to see what happens, but even then, it's like, if you're going to save, you should save. But if you're not going to save, then you summon for her, provided that, you know, you're able to, you know, make use of her abilities, which she's great for either team. I don't really see a wrong answer. Like, yes, she functions best with magic teams, but it's not like she can't function in other teams like mixed teams or physical teams either. She's just great all across the board. She's great. There's no wrong answer to this. So yep, hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, share, subscribe to the channel. It greatly helps out, and I greatly appreciate you all. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.